So as I said already, you were the guys who did something amazing, something that really makes us really proud, and something which everyone else in the field would like to copy in the good sense, right? Making investment during the really difficult times. So and I don't want to be depressive in the sense that COVID was unhappy time, but actually I want to pinpoint something that really. Like, how did you work differently so that you did do this outcome? Or let's start with the first question, like this: what level or milestones did you reach so that you were ready to go and knock on investors' door? Yeah, and even an introduction as a first part. Absolutely, that would be good.
Yeah. So should I just go ahead and introduce Dashboard perhaps in a few words? So Dashboard is a cloud infrastructure monitoring and analytics company. We work with organizations who are building the state-of-the-art, kind of the most newest, or are using the most newest cloud services to build their applications. And we're helping them to build high quality and like really responsive applications at scale. So that's what we do. Up to date, we've raised 2.9 million of VC funding. We have a team of 15 people, and we're in Estonia and London, and we have close to 100 companies that are our clients across the world, mostly in the US and UK, but all over the place. To be honest, like we have companies in each region. So that's us in a really short description.
All right. Very good. Let's close up with you with answering with the first question, which was then, what was the milestone that you reached in the beginning of 2020 so that you were ready to go and knock on investors' doors?
Sure. So for us as an organization, I think there was really multiple things that we were able to reach to be a mature enough organization to kind of reach the investment maturity. There was like customer development and having a customer base, figuring out the market, how to approach, how to go to market in this sector. That was really challenging for us for a long time, but kind of having a really, or like a mature-ish approach to going to market and kind of the proven ability to actually build products. I think those were the boxes that we generally checked that enabled us to kind of raise money at that time.
Any KPIs, like specific?
I don't think it was one KPI. It was just kind of the face of it. The large supporting factor was the sector itself and kind of the segment that was, serverless and kind of the really kind of the frontier of cloud infrastructure is where we are at the moment. So that really helped. There's a lot of excitement in the space. So that was a contributing factor. But it's like for us, it's never been just one kind of KPI that enables you to pass down a door. It's more of a kind of a well-rounded company that you kind of end up with or kind of should be. Yeah. So that was, as for the fundraising itself, what kind of was a struggle for us and kind of really like a challenge for a long time was finding investors with a conviction or kind of the ability to develop a conviction in like cloud infrastructure monitoring space, because it's quite technical. There's competition. There's different kind of value propositions that work for different companies. So to be able to find an investor that's able to develop a strong enough conviction to back you was, I think, the challenge for us. So we ended up as the lead investor was an American VC that is specialized in cyber security and cloud infrastructure. So I guess that could have been like looking back, the most difficult thing during the fundraising was just to find an investor with a fit. Yep.
Yeah. I must comment here because actually the way how I found out about this team was in Brussels. The Paladin Group, who is their lead investor, approached me and said, "Do you know about these hot guys in Tallinn? You know, they are like really the future in cyber." And then I was like really blushing because I didn't know about you. That was a year ago or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, to be honest, was that they found us. So they reached out even before knowing about Dashboard. They had a conviction that this sector and this kind of product should exist, and then they started looking into, okay, who's doing this, and then they found us. So it was a really weird kind of discovery process as well.
Yeah, very good. What about you? What is Veriff doing, and how? What were the milestones for you when you were knocking on doors of investors?
Hi all, I'm Kaarel, founder of Veriff. What Veriff is building infrastructure for trust. We allow any website and mobile application to match the person with government-issued ID. This is what we do, and we do it very many times per day, starting from the fintech and marketplace segment, supporting all the businesses, getting over the barrier of entry, which is trust, for new innovation and companies to join online civilization and world. How we did this last financing round, then there are two things. At the end, investors still would like to seek for growing and working businesses. So definitely metrics have to go in the right direction. Only two things were different at this time. There was a bit of like uncertainty towards the future, and you weren't able to set so good of a meaningful relationships when meeting in person. Anything than that you can just overcome. And from our point of view, we closed this round of financing within a month, and we started on talking with our current investors that already know and have a good relationship with us. And this is how we raised 15.5 million back in June.
So basically the same investors reinvested.
Exactly. So we had like 50% new and 50% of the new, like current investors joining the round.
Very nice, very nice. For you, the investment round was in April, but you actually closed it like...
Yeah, we closed actually a bit earlier, so we timed the announcement a bit because that's when we released our like the new version of the product as well. So we ended up closing just before Corona, to be honest. Yeah. So yeah.
And for you, it was...
We were in depth with the current situation, and then when things were south. But yeah, on another side, it was like at the end, like the first beginning went over, and people started to understand you can start building up relationship over Zoom, and but still it was more convenient talking with the current ones that we've been in touch for a long time, and then focusing on following fundraisers already in the future to come.
All right. I really want to learn more, and I believe that the audience also would like to really learn more about the, in what kind of work ethic did this pandemic require from you? And you were slightly in different situations. I mean, you had your investment secured, but in your case not. But what kind of work ethic and what kind of changes did it require from your product teams? Let's start here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing you can't get over was the ability, you have to go remote. But that honestly worked out really well for us. So the productivity and kind of the pace of, development and the pace of, we were actually just starting to hire a commercial team into London at that time. So, all the hiring, everything was done online, but that really wasn't like too challenging. I think we had like a 2-week period when we were just kind of getting used to it, but then it started to accelerate. And to be honest, like until now as well, a lot of the engineering is working remotely most of the time. Like we do come to the office and we do work together, but a lot of the work is done at home. The sales team who's in London has seen each other, I think, 2 or 3 times in real life. So we're, I think just going to remote. But to be honest, there was a lot of positive like tailwinds during that time, because once we started hiring for sales, what happened during the Corona was a lot of the London organizations shocked their commercial teams to be like half thin, and like you end up with a lot of talent in the market that we were able to get. So that was a good thing for us. So yeah.
What about the work ethic of your team and yourself as a founder?
That's when I was thinking also that we managed to make really good hires, because honestly, we had no concerns at any time that people were slacking off or anything like that. I think people were even more productive. So my background also is in Toggle, and Toggle, for those who don't know, is actually a completely remote company. They have over 100 employees by now, completely remotely during all the corners of the world. So we had seen how that works before. So, and like a couple of other people as well from my team actually are from Toggle. So we managed to do quite well.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Or what about in Veriff's case?
It was interesting to have a look at the dynamics when we went for remote. At the beginning, we understood that operations remained the same as performance. Developers peaked when they were able to work from home, and this was very interesting to see how it remained. And at the end, it's a good time to test all the processes, whether they work for you or against you. So you see when you're going full remote, whether still things go in the right order. And luckily, in terms of overall performance, it didn't change as much. Even though I have to point it out, when we allowed ourselves getting back to the office, it was now nearly 2 months back. It was also interesting to have a look at dynamics. First ones that arrived our office were all the parents. all the rest were happy with this voluntarily remote work. But all in all, it's always just do what you like, and then you can do it from home and at the office. So.
Did the situation put some extra load on you as a founder and on your work ethic also? Or?
Definitely. There's no such thing as over communication. You're just, Slack is always full of all the messages, and you have to over communicate in terms of being more present while working from distance. So that's definitely a thing to keep in mind. On the other point of view, it's not so many changes though. Yeah.
All right. As the situation changed rapidly, did you find new business solutions, or were you in a position where you had to find new business solutions or tracks or something to be dramatically changed?
So for the case for Dashboard is that we're sector agnostic. So our clients are from food delivery companies to restaurants to whoever is using any cloud infrastructure. So I would say the best way to describe the situation for us was turbulence. So some accounts growing, kind of being more meaningful, while others are shutting down or having trouble or asking for discounts. So I think some sectors obviously kind of benefited, but there was a lot of those that were struggling as well. And I think that transferred to us. So I just turbulence, but no clear trends upwards or downwards, I would say. Yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah.
From our point of view, always our bread and butter were fintech and marketplace segment. But when the crisis hit, then it definitely accelerated the digital transformation. So new use cases came from telehealth, notaries, universities, and corporations going full remote for remote hiring and credentials for that purposes. So our volumes definitely spiked from February to April. So we did in April 2 times the volumes than we did in February.
All right.
That being said, a couple of other segments were hit by it. So there was also our current customers that were hit very heavily from the marketplaces segment, different segments with the crisis that hit. But overall, we understood that when Zoom is something you can set up within a day or within a minute, then for Veriff it was always 2 to 3 months delay in terms of accelerating and getting through all those sales cycles and get the service up and running. But overall, I believe technology sector as a whole wins I didn't want the world to become more digitalized due to the reason that it's been having though, but definitely tech will win, and it will win with a slight delay, but at the end it supports the whole sector as a whole.
How the new sectors actually happened to you, or the use cases? Did they reach out for you, or were you the active partner in there?
If you're stuck at home, they will find you basically.
Okay.
If the world has to keep up going, and there's a seek and need for different solutions, how we can keep our business running when it's fully remote. All the delivery that spiked when ride hailing dropped, and age verifications and all those things that started to come along. So definitely it was like outbound sales during those times was definitely difficult for your core market segment, but the inbound opportunities were interesting that enabled us to just follow the track of least resistance and urgency.
So, and now your growth rate is the same, like twice by April,
No,
twice
you can't have it like forever.
All right.
Otherwise, I'd love to. But around like 30% of month-over-month growth is something we can have year to date on a average level. But yeah, this is also like, we're also very interested to see what the future will bring. So it's also glad so many people to see here, in a sense that we're in Estonia, which is like a parallel world compared. While speaking with my team in States, they say like, what is going on? You can be at the office, you can be and do like a regular, nothing has ever happened. So, but definitely as you see like what's going on in the world, then everybody is seeking for new solutions, how to adapt and how to keep going.
Yeah, I cannot leave this question out. So, what are you expecting to happen in fall from the point of view of your business? Are you expecting some rapid changes, or growth, perhaps, or something more, or something different?
Yeah,
You always expect for growth. I think for us, like there's a lot of expectations around expanding the customer base and all of that. I think the other kind of large expectation or kind of goal for us is to like keep building the organization, keep building out products. I think that's equally important for us, and I hope we can do that despite Corona, and it does look like we can. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different goals. I think a lot of that is around like commercial development and kind of building the commercial processes, the right go-to-market strategy. So figuring that out. So yeah, a lot of challenges, but I think a lot of opportunities as well for us.
All right, and from Europe?
I believe there's still also like a lot of uncertainty from the customer side as well. So in terms of new segments entering and coming online, they don't want to have like yearly commitment upfront. They don't know what the volumes expect. So there's definitely in terms of innovations that has to be done in terms of payments and short-term and pilots, and there's a lot of work in terms of supporting them to get up there. So this is definitely the uncertainty question, and also slightly bigger corporations being afraid of a doomsday, Q4, Q1, and this is also something what to keep in mind.
Yep, very good, very good. So today you are in front of the international CyberTech ecosystem players, but also Estonian ecosystem players. Do you have perhaps an ask to the ecosystem players? With whom would you like to have the chats afterwards, or perhaps you have a message to the many startup founders in the audience today?
So an ask. I think what's I think a problem for every Estonian startup right now, and like has been, is like hiring engineering power. So I think that's the fundamental ask always, is to get more engineers involved in the space and like in dashboard. So yeah, we're hiring. To the new founders and kind of founders in this space, I think it's a good opportunity for new, like this time and the next few years. A lot of new trends will happen in cloud, in different kinds of sectors, in the cyber world. So yeah, keep going and kind of keep figuring out the products that the market needs.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, to the founders, basically, what I'd like to say, definitely, it's we're not out of the woods yet. It's also, there's a lot of uncertainty happening. So if there's going to be any unpopular decisions, then rather make it sooner than later. And there's also the things that you have to be very metric driven in those times. So that's an advice and to founders for building companies that last.
All right, yeah. When I was asking for an ask, then what I remembered was that 2 years back when we had a similar meetup between founders, and the end result for that was that you bought one other CyberTech startup. So perhaps that was also an ask that was seamlessly sent out to the audience. All right, that were the questions from my part. I hope that you can stay here with our community members for the rest of the event. Thank you very much. Let's give you a warm applause, and I have something also for you.